What's going on, everyone? Long time no see. I got a new mic actually. It's really cool. I wish I could show you guys. It's the HyperX one with like RGB and stuff. But anyways, so in this video I want to talk about how to use and build SP Narm. I didn't make a video about her when she was out. It's been what, like 2 weeks already. I didn't make it because she didn't have her 3C, and without her 3C without her 3C, it feels like she's not that special, but her 3C makes her so much stronger. So in this video, I'll briefly talk about her. So I won't make like crazy graphics and stuff because her changes is not like that significant. She's like better, but it doesn't make her like a totally different character. She plays very similar, but again with a lot of buffs. So before I begin, I'm gonna plug some ad, and this is really important for me, and I promise you if I do win this contest, I will give back to the Langrisser community. Maybe I'll make a tournament. I'll just find a way to give back with these dollars that I win. So this contest here I entered is for 25k US dollar, and it's kind of like a popularity vote. I didn't really plug it into my videos because I didn't want you guys to be like, what the hell is this? But like, I need any vote that, you know, every vote counts, and I have been first place for the longest time, and now I'm knocked down to second. And this contest lasts until I think the mid of December, so I need to be first place until December 9th. So I need to stay first place until December 9th. Right now I'm still okay, but then I saw that I got knocked down to second. I was like, okay, now I'm a little bit paranoid. I thought it would be easy with my, strong, a lot of following on my social media. People have been voting me, my friends and family, and my local community. But now I need the internet's help. So if you guys can kindly help me, there can be, there's free vote. Please just do it every day. And yeah, that's it. And now let's go talk about SP Narm. If you don't care, I'm unfortunate, but if you do, it'll help me a lot. Okay, so first let's talk about her new talent. Her new talent is somewhat similar to her previous talent. So Arrow of Light unit, when this unit moves, all passable terrain is treated as plains. So this is really good. The reason why is because SP Narm has access to new troops, the Elven Archer. But before, if you're using Narm, you're always relying on Sky Archer, just so that you can move and you can fly. She can't fly anymore, but with her talent, this allows her to move freely. Kind of like flying, but she cannot fly on like sky if there's like a sky map. But then she can go anywhere because of these troops. So that makes her stronger, because now instead of moving 3, she can move 5. She has 5 movement with those troops. Now it can move 5. There's no restriction. Okay, gains 15 increased attack when initiating battle. And after battle, enemy heroes have their mobility reduced by 1. So if you remember her normal form, mobility reduces by 3. But now it's by 1. So this part is a little bit nerfed, but hear me out. She still has it, okay? And take 15% increased damage from Evolved Narm. Evolved Narm is SP Narm. So basically SP Narm will have this stack. You can stack it on your opponent, stack up to 2 times, which means maximum of 30% increased damage instead of 15%. So she already have increased attack, and then she will make the opponent increase damage by 15% up to 2 times, which is 30%. Cannot be dispelled. So that's really good. This effect can only trigger once every 2 turns. Okay, but you do remember cooldown trigger. When you have this, hero talent cooldown trigger reduced by 1, which means that this effect can happen every 1 turn. That's the cooldown. So that's very strong. So now we're going to look at her new skill. She has pretty much 3. She has a passive. So now we'll talk about the passive first. When this unit is at 100% HP, this unit means Narm reduces the target's mobility by 2, before initiating battle and renders them unable to guard for 1 turn. So with her talent, that's -3. So this basically is the same before the SP form. However, instead of, because the normal form, it's like after you attack, then you reduce their mobility. But now it's like before that, it will happen if Narm has 100% HP, which is really good. So, but don't misunderstand this meaning here. For example, if you are using her for PvP, you don't ignore like guard if there's a tank. You have to hit the tank first, now it ignores guard. So if you hit any other target, they can still guard. Okay, next one here, Skybreaker Shot. This skill is not very good. Okay, it's kind of useless. In my opinion, it's kind of good for PvP, but it's really hard to use. So physical damage, attacks a single enemy dealing 1.4 times battle damage. Super effective against flyers. Ignores guard if the target is a flyer. After battle, renders the enemy unable to act again for 1 turn. Okay, so the first part here where super effective against flyers, honestly, is not really relevant because Narm is an archer with very strong archer troops. If you are able to hit a flyer, any flyer is dead in PvE nor PvE. Well, I don't want to say PvE, but unless there's a PvE flying boss, then that's a different story. But they should all die. Ignores guard if the target is a flyer. I mean, this is good. This is good in PvP, but I think the current meta is just there's just not too many flyers, and you need to reach them. Maybe there's Ares, maybe there's a Toa, maybe there's Fornan, but your pick ban needs to be like good, like really on point, and you have to pick Narm. You know, so there's a lot of variation. I don't know if it's like if you can rely on it, but definitely I can see it to be a little bit useful when it comes to like PvP, but PvE not really. And the second part here, after battle, renders the enemy unable to act again for 1 turn. So this part is also really good because this effect cannot be dispelled, which means if they have a skill that allows them to, for example, Chivalry. Before Leon's Chivalry, if you hit Leon and he does Chivalry, he cannot act again. Or Liana's act again. That doesn't work. So I can see this to be a little bit useful in PvP. PvE, I don't know if there's some kind of cheese, but you know, the second effect here, you can probably use other character to kind of apply the same concept. But anyways, you know, the cooldown is a little bit too long, in my opinion. Like 3 rounds cooldown, I just don't find this very helpful. Okay, next we have the 3C. Sun Piercing Arrow. So 3C is good. It's really good. There's 2 parts to it. 2 parts to it. The passive, I already think it's really good. Damage is increased by 10% after battle. Gains the chance to move another 2 blocks. So this damage is increased by 10%. You can stack with this, which is why it's good. And also stack on with this, with her talent. I tried it. It's really good. A lot of damage. After battle, gains the chance to move another 2 blocks. You can move 2 blocks every single turn. So she is a archer with Leon's talent when you equip 3C, which is why it's like a must-have. Okay, the physical damage part. Attacks a single enemy, dealing 1.6 times damage with a bonus against flyer units. Before entering battle, ignores guard if the target has 2 or less mobility. This part is really, like, people get confused with the cripple. They think if, you know, these are combined together, you can ignore guard every time. That'll be too good, but I'll explain. Silences the enemy's active and passive skill after battle. Last 2 turns cannot be dispelled. So this is really good. You have buffs and debuffs. You have debuffs, silence, and active and passive skills after battles, and the last 2 turns and cannot be dispelled. That's really good, which means your downtime is only 2 rounds. After 2 rounds, you can apply the same effect again. Okay, so this right here, before entering battle, ignores guard if the target has 2 or less mobility. So you would be like, oh, this is awesome, because if I use this, that's -2. With her talent, that's -3. So the most usually would be mobility 5, well 6 when it comes to Sherry SP form, but no, it's yes, I think Sherry's SP form is 6. But anyways, so let's say if you fight any characters that have mobility 5, now you would think like, oh, that's total of -3, which means they're always at 2 or less, so you can ignore guard. It doesn't work like that because 3C applies before cripple, and I think that's how they prevent her to be like a broken character in PvP. So this happens before this. It's not the other way around. So you cannot ignore guard at any time. Let me show you guys. Alright guys, so the best way to test this scenario is right here. 2 guard, I can hit literally any of these. And if what I told you guys is true, this will be guarded. But if I'm wrong, which means I can ignore any guard, but it doesn't work because they have to have minus whatever first. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this target with 3C. So, look, it's guarded. Now it applied. So this happened before cripple. So now if you look at it, hero talent -1, mobility -2, this happened. Okay, so but now if I were to attack, I can hit him because this is, there's no mobility. 2 or less. So in PvP, it can work if you have like a good strategy, which I'll explain. Okay, so who would be good to part with SP Narm? And on top of my head, 2 came up. 1 would be SP Hein. He's in Glory and both Princess if you have his exclusive. And with his 3C turns the tile into this effect here. Their mobility is reduced by 2 after taking action, which means their action will usually, well, unless they are like Flyer or Cavalry or whoever has 5, then this will be a little bit hard. But if it's anyone with 3 mobility or 4, whatever, then this will allow Narm, SP Narm to snipe because it will ignore guard. Unless they have way to like immune to the mobility reduction, or it got dispelled. But then it will give them headache. It will make SP Narm a little bit more scary if you part Narm with him. And then the next one I have is someone who has very similar skill to Narm, which is Toma. But unfortunately, his fashion buff is just not there. But his passive is very similar. Before battle, if the target's mobility is 4 or higher, the target suffers mobility -2. Cannot guard. But this one can be dispelled, which is why he kind of sucks. I'm still trying to build him to like not level 6 stars, but he's just not good. I try to make him work, but it doesn't work. But anyone you guys think has mobility reduction, it will work. For example, I think Leon will do. Leon's Smash. Or Smash is not as good as 1000 Hoops, because 1000 Hoops is -2 mobility plus cannot be dispelled. So these skills you just have to explore. I think SP Narm is she's good. She can be good in PvP in Apex, but she just needs you need like the perfect combo, which is also the reason why I think she's not very common. At least I haven't seen people try to use her, because Archer is just not very strong. Illustra is different because she can always ignore guard. She has a lot of ways to ignore guard. Okay, now let's quickly talk about her build. If you're using SP Narm, well, it's basically if you're using SP Narm, you will have Valkyrie Pulsar. the exclusive, because if you don't have this, you cannot unlock her form. So this is a must. And then last right, whatever, honestly. And then accessory, anything that gives you attack, whatever you think is better. These are all the stuff that I just have on her since like day 1. And then the 3 range bow I think is the best, because this gives her extra damage. But if you don't have this bow or you don't want to use this bow, I would say extreme magic bow is also really good, because she can now ignore melee penalty. This matches with these cavalry archer here, same thing. When you're on these terrain, damage is not reduced in melee battle. So this makes her being able to deal full damage at melee range and in 2 range. So it's really, really good. And when it comes to enchant, honestly, I think the best, like these one is just what I have since day 1 again. I don't think meteor is a good option. I just put it on her because I have so many of those scrolls, and when it comes to PvE, it doesn't really matter. So I think breeze would probably be the best option when it comes to both PvE and PvP now, just because more mobility, more attack. Because right now what I have, her attack is not like inflated, it's really low. So you want to use rough sea or breeze. I just don't use her in PvP. Oh, I don't even play PvP anymore, but for me, it's just not worth it for me to change it, because right now all these attack is enough. Okay, so conclusion, is it worth investing into SP Narm? I'll tell you, if you don't play PvP, and you don't have a lot of resources to build her, especially like getting the SP stone, I would say it's not worth getting her evolved. Just so because when you are playing PvE, I think her normal form is more than enough. But let's say if you are trying to climb in the Ancient Beckoning, the Hangi Mugi, whatever that boss is. If you do want to climb, I'm telling you the SP form is going to help you a lot. It's going to make it so much easier, just so because of her 3C, she is able to move another 2 blocks every single time. That makes it like broken. And she has 5 movement with these soldiers, and they also hit much harder than the Sky Archer. So if you're trying to climb in that Ancient Beckoning, it's very useful. But normal PvE, it should be more than enough, the normal form. But if you want to try her out in PvP and climbing, if you have a lot of like reason to build her, trust me, she is worth it. Narm is always one of my to-go-to archer when it comes to PvE. And now basically, if you evolve her, you have an option to put her in PvP. If I were to play Apex again, and I want to change like a faction, let's say to Princess, Glory, or, well, not Meteor, I would definitely try to use her or try to make her work. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video helped you guys understand better about SP Narm, and if it's like, you know, help you decide if you want to get her SP form. So last but not least, usually I would say, you know, like, share, do all that stuff, but please vote for me in this contest. I will put this link inside the description and in the comment. Every vote counts, and there's not much time, and I really need everyone's help. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye bye.